What is strange about one of the most famous paintings of military victory? Almost nobody seems to be celebrating. There is no triumphant general towering over a defeated enemy. No hero standing on a pedestal. Instead, at the center of the painting, two men simply meet, and one of them is handing over a key. This is Diego Velázquez's The Surrender of Breda, also known in Spanish as Las Lanzas, the Lances. Painted around 1634-35, it is enormous, just over 3 meters high and almost 3 meters 70 wide. Today it hangs in the Prado in Madrid. The event itself happened 10 years earlier. In 1625, after a long siege, the Dutch city of Breda surrendered to the Spanish forces commanded by the Genoese general Ambrogio Spínola. The Dutch governor, Justin of Nassau, handed him the keys of the city. But Velázquez was not painting a battlefield report. This was an official image of Spanish victory, made for the Hall of Realms in Madrid's Buen Retiro Palace, a room designed to celebrate the power of Philip IV monarchy. And this is where Velázquez does something unusually intelligent with propaganda. Look at Justin of Nassau. He bends forward as he offers the key. Now look at Spínola. Instead of standing rigidly above him, Spínola leans towards the defeated commander and places a hand on his shoulder. The gesture seems almost to stop Nassau from lowering himself too far. The victor accepts surrender, but refuses to turn it into humiliation. That simple gesture is the moral center of the whole painting. The Prado has pointed out that there are no conventional triumphant generals and humiliated armies here. The violence is still present, but Velázquez moves it away from the center. Now look to the right, and suddenly the other title makes sense, Las Lanzas. The Spanish lances rise almost vertically, one after another. They create rhythm, discipline, and order. José Ortega y Gasset famously described them as the backbone of the entire picture, and once you see them that way, it is difficult to unsee it. Compare that with the Dutch side on the left. Their weapons and figures are less regular. The silhouettes break apart. The group feels looser, more tired, less controlled. Velázquez does not need a caption saying victory and defeat. He lets the rhythm of the two groups to do the work. And then there is the horse. That enormous horse on the right can seem almost inconvenient. Its backside occupies a surprisingly large part of the canvas. But compositionally, it is extremely useful. It closes a Spanish group, creates depth, and prevents the whole crowd from collapsing into one flat line. It is one of those details you may barely notice until somebody points it out. Now move your eyes past the generals and into the distance. This is where the war actually is. Smoke rises above the landscape. Troops disappear into the plain. Breda lies beyond them. Velázquez pushes the destruction into the background and brings human behavior after the violence into the foreground. So the painting gradually becomes less about winning a battle and more about what victory should look like. The painting is also a remarkable demonstration of technique. The Velázquez scholar Jonathan Brown called it a stunning tour de force of pictorial technique. Look closely at faces, armor, cloth and landscape, and many forms begin to loosen into brushstrokes. Step back, and they assemble again into people, metal, atmosphere, and distance. That ability to suggest rather than over-explain is one of Velázquez's great strengths. It is worth remembering that this is not neutral history. The Hall of Realms was designed to celebrate Spanish power. In that sense, the surrender of Breda is propaganda. But it is unusually sophisticated propaganda. The message is not simply "we are stronger", it is "we are so secure in victory that we can afford to be generous". That may be why the picture has survived its original political purpose so well. We do not need to care who won Breda in 1625 to understand the image. The emotional idea is still immediately readable. Real strength does not require the public humiliation of the defeated. The painting also had a long second life. The siege was already part of Spanish theater through Calderon's The Siege of Breda. Later, photographs, engravings, and textbooks turned the lances into one of Spain's most recognizable historical images. It has appeared in television, comedy, and historical cinema, most memorably in A la Triste, that the surrender of Breda is recreated as an unmistakable visual echo of Velázquez. So, if you see this painting in the Prado, don't try to take in all 3.5 meters at once. Start with 5 things. Find the key, then Spínola's hand on Nassau's shoulder. Look up at the lances. Notice the horse on the right. And finally, look beyond everyone, towards the smoke over Breda. Once you have done that, the whole painting begins to organize itself. And if you remember only one idea, make it this. Velázquez turned a military victory into an image of dignity. Breda is in the background. The real subject is what Zina chooses to do next. This is your art brief. Now go to Prado and look at the painting.